Hi everyone. I finally have a what sold video. I feel like I'm a little behind on them, and by little, I mean a lot. 12 days into October, and I'm just getting to the last week or so of September, but here we are. All right, so the what sold video today is covering September 22nd through September 30th, that last week and a little bit of days from September. We're going to start on Mercari because we made a sale. We actually made sales every week of September on Mercari, which is very unusual, but I'm happy with it. The only thing that sold was this haptics dress. That's just like I think an online kind of boutique-y style clothing brand. So I wouldn't expect much for it. It was just plus size, a really cute pattern, and I got it for free. It sold for $12 on Mercari, and so I profited $10.07. Now I'll move over to Poshmark. On Poshmark, I sold this loft dress. That was a dress that I think that was a dress that came from the consignment store sale. It was either that or it was that church sale where I got everything for 50 cents each. It sold for $31. I never pick up loft, but it was new with tags and a size extra large, so I thought I'd give it a chance. A men's anime t-shirt. These were things that I had gotten from the men's bin at our Goodwill. So it was $1.99 plus tax. So 213, and it sold for $9. They were new without tags. I still have several of these or super similar style t-shirts listed. This was a brand called Dittos. I'd never heard of it before, but it seemed like it had a decent retail value. They sold for $19 and they were new with tags. A North Face hoodie sold for 17. It was like a zip up. It was a hooded jacket. Judy blue jeans sold for 30. These I had gotten from the consignment store, not their dollar sale, but they when they do their dollar sale at I think it's like the fourth Saturday of every month, they will do that week like 25% off the whole store. So I told my mom, I think from now on, if I go to source new items, I think I'm just gonna shop at that consignment store during their 25% off sale, not even their dollar sale, because usually my mom will go to that for me and try to find some pieces pretty cheap for me. And sometimes you can get decent stuff there. It's super like extremely bread and butter pieces, like Talbot's, Chico's, uh, Loft, things like that. And so I'd have to be really picky with it. A dollar is really cheap, but if it sits there for like a year and you only get $10 for it or $8 after fees, then is it like really worth it? Probably not. I'm not saying you can't find anything good, but the sale now has gotten so known about that it's really hard to find stuff like my mom used to be able to for me. But 25% off through the store is really where it's at because then I can get pieces, and even though I'm not getting them for a dollar, I can usually get them for anywhere from like 5 to 10 bucks, and they're a little bit better items, like those Rock and Republic jeans that sold, was it Rock Revival? I mean, Rock Revival jeans that sold on eBay for like $50 the other day, and then these sold for 30. They are Judy blue jeans in a plus size 18W. And the good thing, like I've mentioned before, with buying from a consignment store is that most of the time the items are searched over really, really well, and you're not going to find flaws, and they're very lightly used. So that's the good thing. So like you could find stuff at Goodwill or other thrift stores, but the chance that you might get it home and notice like that you accidentally overlooked a flaw, it's a very high chance. It happens to all of us, or most of us, I guess I should say. And so then, even if you're only paying 3, 4, $5 for a pair of jeans, if you have to then redonate them back, or even worse, throw them away, then you're out that money. And I'd rather just pay a little bit more where the items have already been looked through to make sure they're in good condition and higher value items and are currently in style, and a lot of times sorted by size because my thrift stores don't do that here, and it just makes it easier. And then I have this Dorothy costume. That was something that I wore in high school a long time ago, and it sold for $21, which is just crazy to me because that's probably like what I paid for it back in 2006 to 2010 when I was in high school, and like here it is selling for that. Halloween costumes are so good. Um I am definitely going to pick up some this year if I can find some on clearance. I wish that the and kids consignment sale that we sell and shop at, I wish that it was earlier in October so I could score some good Halloween costumes there. It's going to be in November, and so I don't think they're going to allow Halloween costumes. Most people probably aren't going to be buying for like a whole year ahead of time. So yeah, but because that I got such great Halloween costumes at the last sale, but definitely keep an eye out for costumes. And I sometimes have even sold some like right after Halloween, so this is a Vermont Country Store cardigan. You guys know I get those at that warehouse for $2. Now it used to be they were $1, and then I think once my mom and I were buying so many of them, they were like, and they put the price up to two. So I get these for $2.14 after tax. This sold for 18. And then this last thing was a bundle. It was a really sweet lady bundled the three the items, and I think she was really excited because she was like, "How much is shipping going to be if I do all these?" And I was like, "Oh, Poshmark is awesome. It's just that one $6 something shipping cost for all of them." So she was happy, and they were three So In Love brand plus size items, and those I got for 50 cents each at that church sale. Now, our total profit on Poshmark for that last week and a bit of September was $112.14. And now we'll go to eBay. On eBay, we sold these men's track pants that were new with tags. I just had these in like a what I'm gonna list video, I think pretty recently, and they sold for $15. Those came from the men's bin at Goodwill, so 213. This was a pair of, I called them athleisure pants. They were just like kind of comfort pull-on casual pants, but you could wear them obviously for like workout or just lounging around. Heck, I wore them to work when I was teaching with like a nicer top, and they sold for 18. A pair of new with tags Converses. This is what's crazy to me is like my mom got these at Marshall's. Can't remember how much she paid for them. They were clearance. I left that sticker on them for the first picture. It was a good picture, and then I realized the clearance sticker was showing, so I like ripped that off. You can't tell the price on it, but dang, I wish I could remember how much she paid for them. But it wasn't very much, and they sold for $45. Next, this was originally a lot of two uh like new with tags just Walmart brand shirts. And I'd had two people ask me before if I could split them. And at first I didn't want to, but then like a year went by and I was like, whatever, I'll go ahead and split it. And the person said they just wanted the black tank. So I told her I would do it for $8. She agreed. And then I edited the listing that to make sure it was just for her. And she bought it for $8. Next was a Chico's dress. This I got for 50 cents at that church sale, and it sold for 15. This is kind of like a problem pair of pants. I mentioned it in another What Sold video that these pants sold for like, I think it was like 30 something dollars to someone, and she forgot to change her address, but we had already shipped them. So or yes, I will say that she like told me that she needed to change her address, but she needed me to send it to a different address. I told her she had to do that herself. And then I kept like messaging her to ask her if her address had changed, and then eBay was prompting me I needed to go ahead and ship it. So then my husband shipped it out, and then she said, "Oh no, I didn't change my address yet." And I was like, "Well, I'm sorry. They needed to get sent out. I hadn't heard back from you regarding if you had updated your address or not." So they got shipped to the address that you have on file. And they showed that they were shipped, that they went to, I guess, the post office and were picked up by buyer. Listed it was like picked up. And so I told her that, and she's like, "Well, I don't have them." I was like, "I'm sorry, and you have to get in contact with eBay." She opened up a claim that they had not arrived. I explained to eBay that according to tracking, not only did they arrive, but that they were picked up by somebody, and she said she didn't get it. She left neutral feedback, and then I received them 2 months after the day that they were supposedly picked up by someone from the post office. I received it back at my house, and so it said return to sender unclaimed, unable to forward, return to sender. So she didn't even put her new address on file with the post office or something. I don't know. So I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, your pants came back to me. What would you like to do?" So she asked if I could reship them to her new address. I told her yes. However, she was going to need to pay shipping. I contacted eBay and they told me that really I didn't have to do anything because it was her fault for not having the correct address on file. And the lady from eBay said, honestly, I would just take your pants and resell them. That's her own fault. And she said the tracking shows that she picked it up. Or that it was delivered. She should have had the right address on file. But that's up to you. And she said you could refund her if you want, but she said, you did everything you were supposed to. And I felt kind of weird about that because I was like, well, I mean, everybody makes mistakes. And so I thought, yeah, she should have changed her address for sure. But I wanted to at least give her like another chance to get these pants. So I told her that I would make a new listing. I made this listing just so that a new label would form, and I was charging 850 because that way it would cover the fees of this new listing getting sold, and it would cover the shipping cost to get the pants shipped back out. And I told her it was listed, the new listing. I sent her a link to it. I waited like a day, and then she didn't say anything to me. She didn't reach back out to me. And then somebody went and bought this, even though this says for the person that was supposed to be buying it right here in the title, but people don't read. And I guess they assumed they were going to get a pair of pants for $8.50 with free shipping. So I had to message them and let them know, hey, just like I mentioned in the description, this is not for a pair of pants. This was supposed to be to provide a label for somebody. I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. And I never heard back from the original buyer. So at this point, I thought, you know what? I've given them several weeks to buy this item back, purchase this label so I could get the pants shipped, and they haven't responded. And I'm not going to spend more of my own money shipping this item out. So they're just sitting here now, and I guess eventually I'll get them relisted. So sorry for the long spiel, but it might help you guys in the future if you have to face anything similar. And lastly is this really cute vintage green corduroy dress. I got this for $1, $1, $2. Might have been $2. It was at a yard sale in a gym parking lot where everybody just like I think it was like a church or something, and everybody had little areas set up. And this lady had all of her clothing for like $2. So this sold for $25, which brings my total profit on eBay to $81.57. So the last week of September, we profited $203.78. Very good. And that means that from all four-ish weeks of September, the month of September, we made a total profit of $1,011.97. Yay! Our goal was, of course, $1,000. So we obviously met that goal, and that's really exciting. And in the next What Sold video, we will go over October and the first week and see how we are doing. And hopefully, we will make 1,000 in the month of October. I hope your September sales went well. I hope your October sales are going well. I heard there's like a new Poshmark algorithm-y thing going on. I'm not really sure what that's all about. So I have heard some people say that they might be experiencing slower sales. I hope that's not the case. We are currently running a Columbus Day sale, so I'm hoping that that will kind of help boost some things up. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.